That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it's harder and harder to resist.
Hardcore horror with Mike and Bridget. Hey, everybody, this is Mike. And I have Bridget with me. We're doing hardcore horror over here. Hey, what's going on, Bridget?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
What's up, home girl? How's it going? We just got through with Halloween. All that fun stuff is over, and now we're into the cold months of November. What's going on with you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Halloween is 365 days out of the year in my house.
Yes, I know. So, it's just not recognized by the rest of the world.
It is by
they've put it aside. They've put it aside. They don't want to hear about it anymore.
Oh, but
until next October.
So it's hard. That's actually like my Wi-Fi. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is yours. It's horror 365." I was like, "You know it," but
right.
Actual October 31st is like a crazy thing in my house.
Yeah.
We had a blast on Halloween. It's the first time ever. Every year I go a little bit extra. I will tell you, this is the first time that I actually had trick-or-treaters. A bunch of them walked right on past my house. And I heard one say, "Hell no, I'm not walking over there." I mean, like, we go super extra.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. If you can scare them, that's good.
Yes, that's my goal, is to scare every damn body. And but you know what? I've always been a huge horror fan. Obviously, I remember years and years ago, before I started getting into acting and costumes and things, I was like, I want to be scary for Halloween. I almost said Christmas. That's funny. I had Christmas on the brain. I'll be scary for Christmas too. But I remember a lady told me we're going to a Halloween party, and I was like, I want to be scary. And she's like, "Sweetheart, you are so pretty. Like, you could never be scary." Shit, I fooled her ass. I was like, it don't matter what you look like. If you put enough into it, you can definitely be scary for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love
Very
it.
cool. Very cool. All right. So we have a guest tonight. Who do we have?
So we're talking to Drake Dyer tonight. He is a Nashville native from Hendersonville, which is right inside Nashville. He's 17 years old. He wrote his first novel, it's a horror book, full of horror shorts. So I'm super excited to talk to him.
Very cool. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Before we get into what we've been watching, I wanted to talk a little bit about a little thing called censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about we've talked about like banned movies and stuff before. You know, we talk about a lot of those movies because those are some of the movies that we like and and stuff like that. But
yeah, we're not weird or anything. Just
no. But you know, I wanted to address a little bit about the topic of censorship and just kind of what your thoughts were with that. I think I know what your thoughts are, but just kind of reiterate, because I think a lot of people don't realize how often things get censored and you don't really know it. You know, when it comes to banned stuff, you'll know it, right? Like, oh, you can't watch that movie. You know, that's a pretty given thing, which is going to make you want to watch it more than likely. But as far as censorship goes, they do a lot of these things very quietly.
Oh, know? For sure. There's a lot of movies out there where Martyrs is a good example. Like, there is, I know they've done this remake that was so shitty that I couldn't even watch it all the way through, but right. I made sure that I got the unrated version because they'll take little snippets and edit them out. And that happens all the time in films, but a lot of people don't realize it. Right. And it's to me like that. You know, I went through a period about three and a half years ago where I kind of was going all digital. I was like, I'm just going to like get movies digitally and like kind of, and, but now, shame on you, Mike.
Well, it was just a period. It was a little period where I thought this may be the way to do it. But I've quickly changed my tune about the whole situation especially because of all of the censoring that goes on. Like there's just so much. There's like Final Destination apparently on Netflix that has just little scenes, few seconds cut out here and there. And if you don't know it, there's no press conference about it. Nobody knows, it's like, unless, you're looking for it, you probably won't even know that. I can remember even Scream. I used to have the VHS copy of Scream, and it was, I guess, the first press of it or whatever. And I wish I still had that, because that movie, now that I have it on other discs and stuff, and digital, it's cut just a little bit. And I'll tell you, there's like a couple little scenes, but one of the main ones is the gore on Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. The gore is cut just a little bit. No, it's not much. It's very brief. But when you buy the movie, it doesn't say the cut version, the abridged version. You know what I mean? It doesn't say any of that stuff. You don't know any of this stuff, and I've never even heard anything about it other than I remember what it looked like back in the day. So there's all these things that happen. I mean, and some of the censorship happens by the creators themselves. You know, the creators of The Simpsons, they pulled that Michael Jackson episode a while back when that documentary came out and stuff. They did it themselves, but still, like there's all these different forms of censorship that happens all the time. I was just reading an article recently. This is not about movies, but it's about music. Patti Smith has a song called "Rock and Roll N-Word." And this is an old song. It's been around for a long time. Other artists have remade it and stuff. Marilyn Manson did a version of it and all that. But yeah, and it was on the National Born Killers soundtrack and everything. But anyway, I read an article that says that it was quietly removed from streaming services, and I can't get any answers as to why. I mean, other than the obvious, but it's like, they just kind of did it, and they're not really. And I can only find one, and it's kind of weird because I saw this article a few days ago. I just did a quick Google search about it, and I didn't find anything in English about it.
Oh shit! And this is okay. You're still talking about the Patti Smith song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't find
rock and roll. What were
N-word? Yeah,
that's what the song's called. Okay.
Yes, that's.
Yeah. I've never even heard of it. Okay.
Well, Marilyn Manson did a version of it on "It Smells Like Children" album, which is where I know it mostly, really, to be honest. And I'm not really defending the song. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's not like one of my favorite songs or anything at all. But I just think that, you know, like they do this stuff very quietly, you know, and it is very concerning, you know, because it's like, you know, I mean, okay, so they take it out because of the N-word, but I mean, well, The Shining has that word in it. Are they going to take that out of the movie? You know what I mean? Like these things can progress real quickly, you know. So there definitely is a fear there, I think, because I feel like, you know, back in the 90s we kind of fought for, and well, we'll go way before that. I mean, 70s, obviously, Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, these people fought for it. These guys went to jail so you could say what you wanted to and kind of have artistic freedom and freedom of speech and stuff. And it's kind of scary that some of this stuff is just sort of being. No,
it's so extremely scary. It's the reality we live in, that everyone is so scared because they're going to offend someone. I'm like, and we're talking about if we're talking about movies, it's a fucking horror movie. Of course you're going to fucking offend someone. But I'm like, everyone is so scared they're going to offend someone. But I'm like, I hate that. I absolutely hate it. In the Scream thing, I wonder what the purpose of that was. I mean, because the movie's gory.
The movie is gory, and you know, I don't even know, because I'm almost certain that even that VHS copy was still the rated R version. Yeah, I'm certain it was, and there's never been an unrated version that was released, so I don't know what the reason was. So, but you know what I mean? It's so subtle, yet they don't tell you that, you know? And so there's tons of movies, I'm sure. And that's why, and you know, Disney does it like crazy all the time. So for me, like, physical copies is definitely the way to go, really. I mean, it's good to have a digital copy of things, but physical copies, you know, obviously you have the old version, it's going to stay. And yeah, that stuff is a little frightening, you know?
I'm kind of, and I'm like you too, like I'm old school, that I'd much rather have like a hard copy. Like, I am a movie collector. Back probably maybe 4 years ago, I did mostly streaming. But once you start collecting the actual movie, there's a lot of things. The edited scenes, that's one. The censorship. Mm-hmm. You have behind the scenes, deleted scenes. There's so much extra. So I really push for people to buy hard copies instead of streaming, because you get so much more out of it. And I'm sitting, but while I'm sitting here having this conversation, I'm sitting here going, okay, what are other movies that things were taken out of that were cut? Can you rattle any off? What about Cannibal Holocaust?
Well, I mean,
I've seen a few different versions of it.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
You're
big movies like that.
Too obvious.
Yeah, big movies like that. You know, I mean, especially when you see something that says uncut, then obviously there was a cut version at some point, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I told you, that Possession, the movie, that from the 80s, you know, that movie was heavily cut and transformed for the US for some reason, but banned in other countries. Very, you know, I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was banned in countries for years, you know. So, but as far as like cut, you know, I mean, who's to say? I mean, there's probably tons of stuff, especially streaming wise, you know, because they can just, you know, at their will, at their leisure, just fucking cut things out, not tell you. You won't know the difference really unless you really know that movie. You know,
yeah, like you point out Scream. I guarantee the average person would have never even figured that out. Never.
Right. No, it wasn't just. It was just the fact that I'd seen it so many times, and I had the VHS copy for so long before I got like a DVD version, Blu-ray, and stuff like that. So I did, but then when I was watching it later on, I remembered it. So yeah, I mean, those things like that can happen, and there's tons. I'm sure there are. I mean, Netflix, like I said, with the Final Destination thing, and so I'm assuming they do it with a lot of stuff. I know Disney does it with all kinds of movies. I mean, they're constantly doing things like that.
Well, that's Disney, so
that's Disney. But you know, again, though, if you like the Disney movies, you know, you should have them in hard copy. I guess.
Do you like Disney movies, Mike?
I mean, I like Nightmare Before Christmas. I like Hocus Pocus. You know, there's a few of them. Yeah, sure. I like what was that? Frankenweenie. Yeah, there you go. Dark
Franken. Oh, yeah.
Return to Oz. I love Return to Oz. There you go.
I didn't know it was a Disney movie, so okay.
Yeah, at least they own the rights to it. I mean, that's a dark movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, what have you been watching this week? Anything good?
Yes. I've been pretty busy. Well, okay, so at Halloween, okay, I watch horror all the time. Mm-hmm. I've watched a lot, but just a few of them that I'm going to throw out there. Halloween night, I think we watched Trick or Treat. We had a friend over that had never seen it. I was like, "You've never seen Trick or Treat?" We did watch the original or the new version, like the horror one with Anna Paquin. Did you know there's a movie called Trick or Treat that's a horror movie?
And it's about the one with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I've seen it.
I didn't even know that was even a thing.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I can't say that I hated it. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's the second time I've seen it, but did watch that. I did a rewatch of a short. So we have a friend that's like, "Oh, I love horror movies, and I'm going to go to Bridget's house and watch horror movies." I was like, and he's always like, I can watch anything." And so, I just got a new job. So I was celebrating, and I went and bought desserts and all kinds of fun stuff, and we were going to celebrate. And he's like, "Let's watch a horror movie." I was like, "You know what? Let me push your buttons a little bit. Let me see. Let me just kind of see." So I had him watch Aftermath, 1994. Tracy had never seen it either. They were both sitting there. I was laughing. I was like, "Wait, it's going to get good. Wait. And they're like, "What the fuck? Bridget, you watch this shit? I can't believe, oh my God. And I was just laughing. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Nice. And then we've talked about this one already. I watched Barbarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's okay. I think we might have talked a little bit about it, how the first half is like, the first half really kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was like really intense. I was like, "Oh shit, what's gonna happen?" And then the second half kind of turned almost comical a little.
Yeah. I really did enjoy the first half. To me, like the first half was original. Like, I feel like it really played well, as far as like subverting your expectations. But then when it gets to some of the other stuff, I feel like it was just box checking. If I'm conscious of that, if I can see it on the screen, I don't like it. And again, playing again with the Harvey Weinstein sort of storyline there, and cancel culture and all that. Yeah, I mean, it was still a pretty good movie. I still think overall it's a good movie, but
I do too. I thought it was good. At the end, Trish was like, "That movie sucked. It was terrible." I was like, "Well, I didn't think it was that bad." He hated the ending of it. He hated the ending of it. But the second half, man, I was trying to give him a little credit. I was like, well, the first half was so damn intense, and they kind of made it a little comical. Is that to kind of not stress the viewer out? I don't know. For me, I didn't care, but it turned from like, oh my God, what's going to happen? It's crazy to okay. But anyways, so watch that movie. I saw. Have you seen the movie Suck?
Yeah, sure. With like Alice Cooper, Henry Rollins, and all those. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I'd never seen that one before. I love all the little references they have in there. I wonder if you caught on to this. I didn't catch on this. It was brought to my attention by Tracy. I'm the movie person. He's the music person. So if you notice, there's a Bruce Springsteen reference in the movie from Born in the USA. Did you notice that? I
mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't recall anything like that, but I might have at the time, but nothing comes to mind right now, though.
Oh, okay. So they put a lot of music references in this movie. So that was one. Another one was they did a lot of references to, the Beatles, the Abbey Road.
Sure.
I don't know if you recognize that or not. And then Iggy Pop was in the movie. So there was a lot of music references, which was a little different. And then Alice Cooper's in the movie. So there's a lot of music references, and I thought it was cool. I also watched Mr. Harrison's Phone. Have you seen that one?
I did see it, yes.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was pretty good.
I was bored to fucking death.
Really?
Yes, I was like, it's going to get good. It's going to pick up. It's going to get good. To me, it was a total slow burn. I think it had a lot of potential, but it was too slow for me.
I think the ending for sure wasn't as satisfactory as probably it could have been, but it was okay. I mean, I wasn't expecting that much from it. I don't know. To be honest.
I think I wasn't. That's the problem, is you go in with these expectations. So anyways, I would probably never watch it again.
I probably wouldn't either. But I wasn't like turned off about it. But yeah, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I thought it was okay.
Well, I'll tell you what I've been spending the majority of the time watching is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
What's that?
I wondered if you knew what it was. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's like a musical horror comedy.
Okay.
It's crazy because my kiddo introduced me to it. First, it got so popular they come out with a series. You can watch it on YouTube. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. First time I'm watching it, I'm like, it looks like I was like, what the hell? She got me watching it. Like, it looks like the Muppets and the set looks like Pee-wee's Playhouse to me. Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden shit just gets fucking twisted and fucked up. And it's almost like a fucked up version of the Muppets, what you're watching. But it's pretty good. It's good enough for I watched the entire, I mean, I think there's only 6 episodes of the series, but they start off with a film. So check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. You're sitting here going, what am I watching? What's happening? And then all of a sudden it's like a flip of a switch. It just turns pretty dark, and it's a musical horror comedy. It was created by Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelling. Joseph Pelling is actually one of the characters, but it's pretty out there. It's definitely worth a mention. A lot of people haven't heard of it. It's super underrated, but my kiddo introduced me to it, but it's dark enough that I enjoyed it. So.
Awesome.
But so we watched the entire series, and then, of course, I've been reading a book called 4:46 p.m., and we're going to be talking to the author later on tonight. But we can talk about that later. But so, what about you? I mean, have you been watching anything good?
Well, actually, I have a little bit of a list. I haven't watched as much as I normally do, and even as what I've been watching, it hasn't all been horror. I took a little bit of a horror break. I kind of got overdosed on horror with Halloween the whole month of October and everything I had to watch. trying to keep up. So I watched a few other little things that weren't horror, like Twister and Memento and stuff like that. Rewatches of those. But I watched Run, Sweetheart, Run. We talked a little bit about this before. And this is a movie that started out really good, and I really was enjoying it. And so it's this girl who is being chased, and just chased by this demon who can track her with her blood, and she's on her period.
Okay.
So she can track her he's tracking her. And he's a demon, or he's a monster. It really doesn't say exactly. I don't think it really says exactly what he is. Anyway, it was getting really good. But then they revealed the reason why he was doing it. And I was just like, oh, God. So dumb. So stupid. I mean, I was just repulsed by it, to be honest. That part, I mean, the movie itself is good, but it's like the reason that he's chasing her and girls. Oh my God, I was just no.
And that's the worst too, because you're like, oh, it has the potential to be good, and then it's almost like, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. If they left the politics out of it, it would have been a really enjoyable movie, I think. But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did watch Trick or Treat, the newer one. At some point, I can't even remember. It was for Halloween, though. But on Halloween night, I watched The Midnight Hour. Have you ever seen this movie?
I don't think so.
I try to watch this every year. I watched this when I was a kid. This came on one of the big stations, NBC, ABC, something like that. It's just about these the dead that start coming back to life, but they're not really zombies. Oh, I mean, kind of maybe, but not really like a zombie movie. But it's pretty cool. I only found it on YouTube, but yeah, it's again, I have a fondness for it because I watched it when I was a kid, But
and
it's because it's
the ones that are made for TV, those older movies that are made for TV. I love them. I do.
Yeah.
Like they're not real extreme, but I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh my God, I love this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one came out in '85, so definitely worth checking out. I did a lot of rewatches. Black Christmas, because I love Black Christmas.
Original or the remake?
Well, of course it's first of all, I love the original movie. And actually I like the second, if you would call it a remake, but it's hard to really actually call that a remake because Bob Clark did produce that movie. He's the director of the original. And going and listening to his commentaries about the original, he had an idea for a sequel. And really that's kind of what Black Christmas, the second one, is. Now that third one is a hot piece of trash, and I hate it terribly.
All right, shit. Wait. Oh, wait. Are you talking about like the one that just come out like 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I hate.
I haven't even seen that one just because I had the idea going. I was like, I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, but the first one is great, and even the remake, the second one, I guess you would say, the middle one is pretty fun. It's definitely not as good as the first one, but it's pretty fun. But the first one is, classic. The Wicker Man, rewatch of that. Hellions, rewatch of that movie. Maniac, rewatch of that.
The original or the
no, the remake. I love the remake better.
It's funny. That's one of the few movies that I can actually say I loved the remake. I love the original, but I absolutely love the remake of that. I mean, I love how they get in his point of view,
Yeah. I like the original, but man, I tell you that remake is good. It's done well.
Yeah.
Up next was a movie called Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell.
Oh, okay. Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder
in Hell.
Okay. I never even heard of it.
Okay. Well, it's a Japanese horror movie. It came out in 1995. And they call this the Japanese version of Evil Dead. And it really is that. Pretty short film, just over an hour. But I mean, it really is. I mean, it's complete homage to Evil Dead. I mean, that's just it. It even says, come get some. I mean, possessed demons. I mean, they use the sort of animation and the claymation stuff in this as well. And he has some of the same looks as Ash. It is very much, of course, Evil Dead came out many, many years before, but yeah, this was very much an homage to that. Which I mean, it was. I mean, enough gore and stuff to keep you entertained.
Okay.
Up next, I watched some movies that weren't really horror, but they're horror adjacent. And it was called Don't Worry, Darling. Have you heard about this movie?
I don't know this one.
It came out recently. It's only really popular because of all this controversy that's going on behind the scenes, I think. But anyway, it's very much a Stepford Wife sort of movie without giving everything away. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Sort of like that, which prompted me to watch the Stepford Wife movies, both of them. I watched the original and the one with Nicole Kidman. Have you seen those movies?
No, I think I started watching them because I kind of sometimes I like to watch the psycho thriller killer type of movies. But I never actually got around to watching it though.
Yeah. Well, Nicole Kidman version is more like a comedy, really. I mean, it really is very lighthearted. But the older one, the one that came out in 1975, that one I would say is more of a horror movie. I mean, there's no jump scares. It doesn't play like a horror movie, but psychological horror, I would say. I mean, it takes a long time developing the characters. It's definitely a slow burn. And there's not a lot of action or anything to it. It's a very subtle movie, but it has a dark ending. The 70s were dark, weren't they?
It is. It's funny. It's like, it's crazy because it kind of starts in the 70s and the 80s, and you just get on the slasher films. But damn, like back in the 70s, you're like, what are they thinking? You know,
stuff got dark sometimes. I like it though. I
do too.
Yeah. Next was Annalise, The Exorcist tapes. Yeah, typical Exorcist movie.
Okay.
Next was a movie called Hex. This is just about these people who skydive, and they were trying to perform this sick. I don't know. It wasn't that great. Up next was Don't Fuck in the Woods Part 2.
Oh, there's a part 1.
Oh yeah. So you haven't seen these movies?
No. It sounds like, to me, I'm like, oh god, Don't Fucking What sounds like one of the campy like 80s slasher films to me when I'm picturing in my brain. Am I even close at all?
It's not really well, I mean, kind of, but it's about aliens. So this guy Sean Burkett, I think he's from Ohio. I remember watching the first one when it came out. I wasn't terribly impressed with the first one. I don't think, this one I enjoyed more. I think this one was better overall.
Do you have to see the first one to understand the second one? Is it one of those?
No, you don't. I mean, actually, even in the credits, in the opening credits, it shows a lot of the first one, so you can kind of get a little bit of a rehash of it if you hadn't seen it, and if you haven't, it probably just fill you in on some of the blanks. No, you don't really have to. I mean, there is one returning character, but it doesn't matter. I mean, to be honest, no. But this does have some people that I've seen before many times. Kaylee Williams is in it. She's in one of my movies. Rather, she's a Chicago native. Jason Crow, he's a Kentucky actor. He's in it. So, and overall, I'd say that the acting is very good for the most part. It's a little bit uneven. I mean, there are a few greener actors than the others. Some are more seasoned. And there's a lot of boobs. There's a lot of blood. There's a little bit of gore. There's some CGI that's not that great, but overall, I had a pretty good time on it. There were a few scenes that were cringeworthy. I cannot say that there weren't, but overall, I liked it better than the first one. I think, from what I can remember. Okay. Other than that, I really hadn't watched a lot of stuff. I didn't really watch anything hardcore horror. The only hardcore movie I watched is Caligula.
I don't even know how to spell that.
Caligula. It's Caligula.
Oh my gosh! Somebody, I think somebody messaged me on Horror Amino one time recommending this movie, and I watched the trailer. I haven't got around to seeing it yet, but I've heard it's pretty extreme.
Yeah, I mean, it's extreme. I mean, sure. It's kind of like the Holy Mountain in regards that, I mean, it's not a horror movie, but there's definitely some gore and blood and decapitate. Spoiler alert: decapitation. They cut this one guy's dick off and feed it to dogs. I mean, yeah, there's that, but you know.
How many times do you think that same scene has been played in movies?
Quite a few, but this one came out in '79, so.
So they might have been the first. You never.
One of them, possibly. There's a lot of
movie. If you ever cut a dick off in a movie, Mike, can you think of something a little bit more creative than feeding it to dogs?
I'll try to. I'll feed it to a cat.
Okay, that's great.
So this movie, there's a lot of sex. There's a lot of orgies. There's a lot of unsimulated sex in this movie. Like it's basically half porn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Malcolm McDowell is in it, and Helen Mirren is in it.
Okay.
So Peter O'Toole is in it. So there's some bigger stars in this movie.
Was this the first time you watched this movie?
This was the first time I watched this movie.
Oh,
yes.
I'm surprised because it's been on my list for a while now because someone recommended it, but it's one of those that at one point I tried to stream it and I was unable to find it. So it's out there now. So
yeah, believe it or not, yeah, I actually had the VHS copy for years and never watched it, and I just happened to come across an uncensored, uncut version of the DVD, and I decided to get it and watch it. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting movie. I don't know. I can't. It is what it is. I mean, all I can say is watch it, but yeah, if you're not into watching unsimulated sex and some wild and crazy decadence, and maybe this one might not be for you. But yeah.
Would you, and just overall, would you just recommend it or no?
To you?
Yeah. I guess I'm not your average person. I
would say for you, yeah, give it a watch. But
okay.
As far as the average person, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
That's not what I meant. I'm like, yeah, you recommend it to me. I think if people listen to our podcast, they're probably not the average Joe. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but like again, it's not horror really. I mean, there are some horror aspects of it, but it's not a horror movie. But it's just a drama. It's a dramatization of Caesar and the reign of Caligula, and it's pretty wild though. It's a pretty wild movie. Yeah.
Cool.
That's about it though. That's about all I got.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I know it's been crazy last couple of weeks with Halloween and everything. So.
All right. So are you ready to bring on our guest?
Yeah, let's bring him on. I'm super excited about it.
All right. Very cool. Let's talk to him.
So tonight we have Drake Dyer on with us. What's up, Drake?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hey, so Drake is a native of Hendersonville, Tennessee. He has wrote his first book. It's 4:46 p.m. is the name of the book. It's a collection of short stories, horror stories, if you didn't figure that out already. So we're going to talk a little bit about your book because I've actually been reading it this week, Drake. It's crazy.
Thank you. That was my goal.
Yeah, it was pretty good. My first thought, I will tell you my first thought, and it makes me wonder how many times you've heard this. My first thought is, oh my gosh, this come from a 17-year-old? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic there, but it's really good. I haven't finished it though. I just finished. So the book is called 4:46 p.m. and you have how many? Is it 17 or am I just making that number up?
It's 14 short stories.
14. So I'm about halfway finished. I just finished 4:46 p.m. That's actually the name of one of the shorts in there. So, so this is your first book. Like, what inspired you to start writing?
I think I remember back in 2015, I read my first Stephen King book. It was Christine, and honestly, I just loved it from start to finish. And I really just wanted to see if I could maybe try and do something like that, like write and just see how it went. And so, from 2015 to 2021, I spent the better part of like writing poems, short stories, anything that I could really just think of. And then 2022 came along and I had like a good collection of short stories. And I was like, I really want to try and publish this.
Yeah.
And, I found Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, and I thought that was super sweet. And I published, and yeah.
Awesome. And from what I understand, you didn't have any help from your parents. Like they're like, hey, if you're going to do this, you do it. So you pretty much, put the whole entire thing together yourself, right?
Right. With being respectful of them, because they've been more than supportive, but throughout the whole publishing process, yes, I pretty much had to figure it out by myself.
Well, that's smart. That's a good learning experience.
Absolutely.
But
Right.
yeah, parents were super supportive. It's actually how I found you, is from your mom. It's her recommendation to bring you on. So super excited about that.
Very cool. Well, Drake, before you read Christine, were you into horror before then, or was that just like your first foray into the genre?
I remember my mom and my dad both talked about Stephen King movies, and they said that he wrote books, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they tell me some of the synopsises of the movies, and I remember my 5th grade English class had a Stephen King book, and I kind of looked at it, and then I went to the bookstore and I saw one, and I saw Christine, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool. And I read the back, and I was like, that sounds really interesting. And then I read it, and I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Christine?
I have seen the movie. And
so what's your take on that? Like, I've never read a Stephen King book. I've seen a ton of the movies. I was just wondering what your feedback was, the book versus the movie.
Well, there are obvious connections. Like you know that a book isn't going to be like exactly the same in the movie, but honestly, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like they captured the feel and like the characters well. And I thought it was really good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And now do you, so you also like watching movies too, not just reading books then?
Yes. I love watching movies.
What's your go-to?
My go-to?
Yeah.
Let's see. So I love The Shining. The Shining is one of my comfort movies.
Yeah.
Really? Awesome.
I think my favorite movie is probably Dr. Strangelove. It's a great movie. I love Casablanca. I actually just watched that last night. Super great movie.
Yeah.
And
you like the older stuff, huh?
Yeah. I just kind of branching out and see kind of what I'm into, and I love the classics more than anything.
Yeah, man, can't go wrong with some classics for sure. So yeah, you're naming off some older ones. I think that's really cool because a lot of kids your age are not really into the classic classic movies.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And have you ever thought, so you wrote this book, have you ever thought about maybe putting it into film? Have you ever thought about that?
That thought has crossed my mind several times. I really, it'd be such a different world, because I know like books and movies are like, they quote unquote kind of similar because it's like a screenplay and it's like written, but I feel like it's so odd. And I mean, I'd be super up to like filming one of them, but I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start doing something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, it'd be definitely something to check into.
Absolutely.
Have you already started working on, I know you said that you wanted to write more. Have you started on anything?
Yeah. So, I'm about 2/3 of the way into my new novel, and I'm hoping to publish, hopefully in the middle of January is when I hope to publish.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And for listeners out there, you can find 4:46 p.m. on Amazon. $15.99, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's funny. Like, I haven't read a book in so long. I'm super ADHD. It's very hard for me to read a book, but I have been able to sit down and read some of this, and it's crazy. The pages are so thick. Like, the book is it's nicely made too.
I know. I noticed that first whenever I got my proof copy, and then I got the real book, and I was like, wow, it's really thick.
It is thick. Okay, it's not just me. I was
No.
I kept thinking am I skipping a page? I was like, damn, this is like nicely made book.
No one else noticed that. But I was like, this kind of heavy and kind of thick.
Yeah, that's so great. Of course, I would notice that. I'm like the weirdo over here. Are there 14 shorts? Are there any? Do you have a favorite? Do you love them all equally? Does any of them have like sentimental value to you or anything?
Well, I think sentimental value goes. I think 4:46 p.m. That's when I finished that story. I had like a epiphany. I was like, man, that actually like turned out really good. Maybe I could like write more, and maybe I could actually publish something. So that one definitely has sentimental value. But I think my favorite is probably I Swear by All Flowers. It's the longest in the book. It's 97 pages, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
But it's about this woman who has chromophobia, which is the fear of colors. And she lives in, well, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll give you like a brief synopsis. But She lives in like this all white house, and the main character, his name is Joe. He's a psychiatrist, and he's basically trying to cure her because like her case is so extreme. Like he's never seen anything like it before. So yeah.
Okay, so I haven't got to that one yet. Like I said, just finished 4:46 p.m. After reading that, I was thinking, oh my god, that's so miserable. Oh my god. It's like the first thought that come across my mind. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But no, it's so good. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, like, I love it how you did some name drops in there. I can't even tell you what story it is. You probably know off the top of your head, but I love it. That was something on like Harlow Road. And Harlow Road and Concord Road. I was like that. I love it how you just kind of threw those in there. I talked about Harlow so much on the podcast. So one of the owners of Harlow is Drake's mom, who is also my color hair specialist. My hair is a big thing. Your mom is like not even a beautician. She's like a magician. So kudos to her. I think that's cool that you did that.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of other things in there, like the names. Some of your names are different. Do you have friends that you name characters after, or do you randomly make up names?
So I think what is it? Different Breed of Evil. So the main character's name is Giles Roystricker. So I looked up the top 10 most uncommon names, and the name Giles was on there, and I thought that was really interesting. I was like, that's a very interesting name. And then I just kind of I take like pieces of names, like suffixes like son or man or field or something like that, and I just like put like two suffixes together and just kind of see what I can create name-wise.
Yeah, no, it's pretty smart. There's one that I read, and I could be pronouncing it wrong. It's meow backwards.
Yeah, Woam.
And I was like, I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you're not the first one.
Okay, I totally went and Googled it. It is a word. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know it was a word. I just kind of thought about meow backwards. Yeah,
it's totally a word. And I thought that was going to be, it took me a minute, and until you start reading, you're like, oh shit, it's meow backwards.
Yeah.
But it's a worm, like a grub worm. That's the actual definition of it.
Oh.
But even though that has nothing to do with the word at all.
Excuse me, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's your fun fact for the night. And I was reading it aloud, and every time I'd read that, I'd be like I tried to do like the kitty cat sound. I'd be like, meow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to picture it in my head. I was like, what would that sound like?
Yeah. No, that was pretty smart. Like it took me a minute to figure it out. So, Mike, if you ever read the book, it's meow backwards.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty creative. Yeah, awesome.
So Drake, what's your writing process? How do you have the self-discipline to like just with all the things that are going on in the world and everybody's so crazy and busy and everything? How do you get yourself down disciplined enough to just write this stuff out?
Yeah, so I have 2 jobs, and I also have school, so it makes it kind of hard during the day, either do it in the morning or at night to like write. So I usually try and schedule things out and have like a good routine. So I try and write between 1,000 to 1,200 words a day in anything, like a project or whatever. But I try and be consistent because I know that if I fall out of routine, then I'm just gonna not have the willpower to do it again. So I really try and stick with like 1,200 words a day, which I usually hit that goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 jobs, going to school. I'm like, when do you even have time to even think, like while you're driving or?
And sometimes I do it during school too. Like I have a free period at 4th block, so I have some time if I have anything I want to write. I just kind of use that time to write.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great that you're so passionate about it, and it sets a good example for other teenagers or kids around your age. Like it is possible. If you want it bad enough, you can sit down and make it work. But it is a lot of work, especially if if you're going to school full time and working a job. Oof, you are so busy. Busy.
Yeah, but it's fun though. I enjoy it.
Yeah, are you one of those that like while you're sleeping, do you have like a notepad, and if you think of something, do you get up and write it down?
In a sense, it's like I remember my dreams sometimes. Like I recently just wrote a short story about a dream that I had, and I thought it was really weird. But usually when I wake up, I'll like write something down if I think about something or something like that. But honestly, it just comes and goes. It's not really consistent, but it does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah.
And do you have anyone that inspires you other than Stephen King? I think you mentioned a couple other authors.
Definitely a lot of older authors, but also my dad. My dad is a part-time journalist, and any like grammar question or like writing technique question I have, I usually ask him because he's like the expert. He's my expert pretty much.
Yeah, you've got some pretty, I mean, like very extremely details. I love this about the book because it helps me to actually get a visual. I'm a movie person, not as much a book person, so it's good to have those fine little details in there because it can help me kind of picture the story in my mind while I'm reading it. So kudos to you on that part.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anything? Do you have any questions for him, Mike?
Now that you have published this book, what's your feedback? What response are you getting from the people that are reading it? And also, have you connected with other authors now, horror authors around you?
So I've definitely gotten, mostly from my friends and family, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and it makes me feel really good. But also, I remember at my book signing, I had some people come from neighboring towns. I had some people from Gallatin, some people from White House. They saw my Facebook post, and they like saw me on the news when I was on the news in April, and they came to the book signing, and like I met them, and they were like, "Wow, this is really cool," and I can't believe a 17-year-old wrote a book. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's always been a passion of mine. And like I met some really cool people and stuff like that. And I think most of the Amazon reviews and things that people have told me in person have been pretty positive. I mean, besides like some grammatical errors or something like that. But other than that, it's been pretty positive.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I read your reviews earlier today and I was like, wow, like you've gotten some really, really great reviews on there. And you can tell that, some of them aren't necessarily friends and family. They just read the book and loved it. So
right.
That's a pretty big deal. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, what was your second question?
My second question is, have you connected to any other horror authors now that you're published and out there?
Not necessarily. I have friends who are writers, like school friends, but I haven't really met any like adults, like professional writers. But I would love to meet some. I think they're super cool, and I envy them because they write some good stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Have you ever done any writing, Mike? Or no, just reviews? You just wrote reviews, right?
Reviews?
Yeah. Didn't you write reviews for Tennessee Horror, or am I just making that up?
Oh, I did write a few of those. No, I have written books too. I have about 7 or 8 books that I published
really?
back in the day. Yeah. Poetry, lyrics. I used to play and sing in bands, and some short stories. I did actually have one book that had quite a few horror short stories in it, but it's not really. I haven't done that in years, but yeah, I did about 7 or 8 of them.
Really, that's cool.
You almost have to be a writer before you can. If you write a movie, you have to come up with the script. So.
Yeah, it helps.
Mike, for you, did you start with writing books and then went to film? Is that how it
I started just writing poetry. Yes, poetry, and then again with the bands, singing, writing lyrics. Those were the first 2 things I wrote, and then I just accumulated so many of them that I was like, I'm just going to publish these things, and just kind of went on from there. And then eventually, I wrote some short stories, and then I probably would have continued doing that sort of stuff, but then I got into writing scripts, screenplays, and making movies. So, yeah.
Look, see, Drake, that's going to be your next thing you know, you'll be writing screenplays and directing movies. You never know.
I have tried to write a screenplay once. It didn't go well.
It didn't go well?
No.
It's not hard to believe. Why? Why? Enlighten me.
I think the story that I had planned out wasn't really salvageable because it was almost like a little thought, and I just kind of wrote a little bit, and I was like, this isn't really going to go anywhere. It was I was trying to write a screenplay for like a mafia movie, and I like had the characters lined up, and I had the story planned out, and then I was just kind of like, this doesn't really make any sense to anybody besides me, so I just kind of quit.
Yeah, that is a thing. I believe that I would be the person that would write something and no one else would understand it but me. So I just write.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
Yeah, I'll just stick to acting. I'll let you guys, let the professionals do all the writing.
Yeah.
But don't give up on that. Try if don't give up on it just because the first time didn't work out. I mean,
No, yeah, I definitely want to try again. I have to have the good idea first.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Are you a senior or a junior?
I am a senior.
You are
I am a senior. Yes.
Oh, awesome. So do you have plans after you graduate?
Well, I applied to University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and I hope to hear from them soon. If I get accepted, I hope to major in finance and minor in probably creative writing or English or something like that.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. When do you find out if you got accepted or not?
I hope the middle of December. That's what everybody else has been saying. All of the people that I know that have applied, they said that it should be around the middle of December when they announce it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, you got some exciting stuff that you'll have to let me know. I'm sure your mom.
Absolutely.
Your mom will tell me for sure. She'll be.
Oh yeah, she will.
Man, oh my gosh, you're gonna move away. That's kind of sad because I'm in Nashville. You're in Hendersonville, which is just like we're in Greater Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever lived anywhere else other than?
I lived in Hermitage until I was 10, and then I moved to Hendersonville.
Okay, all right. So still Greater Nashville. So that'd be a big change. But Knoxville's a great city. Mike and I actually worked a convention there. It was CreepyCon. So they have a horror convention in Knoxville once a year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When is it?
There August. Was it August, Mike?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'll have to check that out. It's
cool.
If you end up in Knoxville for sure.
Yeah, I hope to.
And something. I mean, it'd be something else. You should check out some conventions that might give you an opportunity to sell some of your books.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually thought about that before. My dad brought that idea up, and I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a really great idea. Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. Mike, do you have any? I know I'm just such a talker. Sometimes I'll talk over Mike. Do you have anything else for Drake?
No, I think that's it. But anyway, so that's all I got. I got quotes.
Yeah. So Drake, we do this little fun thing. I don't know if you've listened to our podcast or not, but we have this fun thing we do. We do horror movie quotes. So basically, Mike's gonna rattle off a movie quote, and you and I have to try and guess it.
Okay. Cool.
Are you down to play that game?
I am down.
Sweet. Okay.
All right. We'll try to go easy on you, but
all right.
Some of them may be a little bit.
He says that he's bullshit.
Harder for you.
He's bullshit.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how your knowledge of horror cinema is. All right. Number 1. Here we go. It's so easy to create a victim, young lady. So easy. You lock someone in a dark room. They begin to suffer. You feed that suffering methodically, systematically, and coldly, and make it last.
Is it a foreign film?
Could be.
I
Sounds familiar.
Do you know what it is, Dre? Is it Martyrs?
It's Martyrs.
I'm like, is it?
I was like, you better get that one.
Yeah, I was like, is it a foreign film? And it's funny because you actually read that in the subtitles. But have you seen that movie, Drake?
I have not seen that movie.
Okay, put that one on your list. But
or maybe wait a little bit longer.
Just remember when you're watching. So Martyrs is my all-time favorite horror movie of all time. It's definitely up there. It's my favorite. But just remember our podcast is about extreme horror movies.
Yeah.
So just know that going in. Know that going into the movie that it is in subtitles. It's a foreign movie, but it is everything about it's just beautiful. I think.
I'll have to check it out. I do. I've learned to appreciate horror films more recently.
Yeah. Any particular ones? Any particular ones?
Let's see. There's this movie I watched a few months ago. It's called Come and See. It's this what? I think it's like this German war movie from the 80s. It's very interesting. It's very dark, very sad, but it was actually really good.
Oh, okay. And Come and See. Okay, cool.
Come and See, yeah.
Come and See. All right, awesome.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Number 2. When the music stops, you'll see him in the mirror standing behind you.
Oh, that one sounds familiar too.
It does too. It totally does. When the what is it? When the music stops, that's like a quote.
When the music stops, you'll see him in the mirror standing behind you.
When the music stops. Oh my God, I have this like on the tip of my tongue too. All right, drop a hint.
Well, there's a woman. She's looking in this mirror. There's a music playing, this little music box.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm picturing in my head is a music box. It'd be like one of, it's not one of the Hellraisers. It's oh my God, is it about it's about the oh my God, who acts in it? It's the couple where they get the box and they get wishes or something.
No, you're not right, but
well, shit. Okay. Drake, do you have anything? Help me out.
I don't think I have anything. This sounds so familiar, but I don't know what it is.
There's a house that's haunted.
Is it, a house on a haunted hill?
No.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just. That was the first thing that came to my head. I'm like, a haunted house. Okay.
Play a game of hide and clap.
Oh, it's.
Is this The Conjuring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, The Conjuring.
Okay.
Actually, you know what's funny is I don't remember that from the movie. I feel like I do, but I don't. I've seen it several times.
Which part? The part about the music? About the
yeah, I don't remember that from the movie.
Yeah, it's the
little boy that she finds that little music box down in like the trap door or whatever, in between the walls, right? The little ghost boy.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give it to you. All right, number 3. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
I was like, that sounds like my little thing about my blue hair.
When did this movie come out?
Is it a Stephen King movie?
It's not a Stephen King movie. It's a Canadian movie. It came out in the 80s. Pretty sure.
80s.
But just think about the context. Roses are red, violets are blue. Where do you hear that kind of stuff?
That's like it's a poem, love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh shit. 80s.
Uh-huh.
God, that's not one this didn't even narrow it down. I mean, like all the best horror movies are from the 80s, so or a good majority of them are. Drake, do you know this one?
He said Canadian. I'm like, oh man. Oh, okay. Early 80s, mid 80s, or late 80s?
Early 80s.
Early 80s.
Okay.
Is it famous?
No.
Roses are red. Say it again. Roses are red. Violets are blue.
Mm-hmm. One is dead, and so are you.
One is dead, and so are you. It's fun. I mean, isn't there like a? This is so stupid. This isn't it. There's a. My first thought I was like a Stephen King movie because there's Rose Red, but that's not it because that's not from the 80s. I mean, there's a movie called Roses Are Red, but I feel like that's way older than the 80s. Any other hints you could give?
There's a minor in the movie.
Oh, is it Valentine's Day?
You're warm. What's it called?
I said Valentine's Day. That's not it. Is it My Bloody Valentine? Sorry.
It's my Bloody Valentine.
Dude, I said Valentine's Day. There is a Valentine's Day movie. I'm just saying. I can't believe it took me that long. I don't remember the quote from the movie, but it makes sense. Roses are red. Have you seen that one, Drake?
The title does sound familiar, though. I think I've heard of it.
That's a good one. There was also a remake of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably what I heard about it from. I think the remake.
It's pretty fun. I mean, it's fun to watch it. They have it in 3D. It's pretty fun to watch in 3D.
I watched it in 3D too. It was pretty good actually. I wasn't too let down by it.
Yeah.
Number 4. Here we go. I get this ache and I thought it was for sex, but it's to tear everything to fucking pieces.
That sounds like something I quote on a daily basis. I'm just kidding. Okay, I get this take for sex, but
I thought it was for sex, but it's to tear everything to fucking pieces.
it's to tear everything in fucking pieces. Okay. I don't know if I know this one. Okay. Drake, do you have anything or do you want a hint?
This does not sound familiar at all.
Okay. It's hard. It's hard. I love movie quotes, but I'm like, as we play this, I'm like, oh my God.
It's like someone quoting a book back to me, like that I read like recently. I'm like, I don't remember that. Because it just kind of flies over you sometimes.
So
this is another Canadian film.
Is it about werewolves?
Ooh, okay. All right.
Is the oh my God, what's it called? Is one of the characters named Brigitte?
Oh, okay. What's
is
the
it
name
Ginger?
of it?
Is it Ginger Snaps?
Yep. There you
I
go.
cannot
Ginger
believe I
Snaps.
got that. Okay.
Good job.
I sit there and took me a minute. I was like, okay, but want to tear everything in pieces. I love that movie. Love that movie. What's her name?
Ginger.
No, her real name.
Catherine Isabella or something.
Yeah, she's Bloody Mary, right?
Yes.
She's been in like a ton of horror movies. I'm like, oh my God, she's such a great actress. Really good. That's a good one. That's a good one to watch. Drake is Ginger Snaps, and even Bloody Mary is one of my favorites. I love it. Love that movie. I've seen it so many times. Love it. But okay.
I definitely have some homework. I gotta watch all these movies.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here we go. Last one, number 5.
All right.
You start to play it, and it's like somebody's nightmare. Then suddenly, this woman comes on, smiling at you, right? Seeing you through the screen.
Wait, say it was really long. Say it one more time.
Sure. You start to play it, and it's like somebody's nightmare. Then suddenly, this woman comes on, smiling at you, right? Seeing you through the screen.
Is this Poltergeist?
Nope.
Oh.
I was thinking like The Ring, but I don't.
The Ring!
Oh, it is The Ring.
Oh, okay, sweet. I was like, okay.
I just watched this movie the other day. I can't believe I did get it.
The Ring.
Yeah, I thought the word, it makes sense. Like that's a good movie quote. It makes sense. It goes with the movie.
You said screen, and I was like Poltergeist ?
that would have been the next logical guess, though.
Yeah,
for sure. Anyway, that's quotes.
Cool, awesome. Well, I think that's all we have for you, Drake. So you can check out Drake's movie 4:46 p.m. on Amazon. And if someone wanted to go and follow you on social media, you're out there on social media? Can you be found out there?
Yes, my Instagram is Drake Dyer 05, and I think the same for my Facebook.
Okay. All right. Awesome. We'll have to go.
Very cool.
We'll check you out. Well, thank you for coming on. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. Good luck with all your future endeavors, man.
Thank you
Keep
very
on
much.
writing.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Bye,
all right, you
Drake.
too. Y'all have a good night.
All right. You too. All right. That was Drake Dyer, right?
Yeah. Wow. He's like super inspiring to, kids his age, right?
He just makes me want to take a nap. I swear he's just doing too much stuff. Like he's naming off all these things he's doing. I'm like, you know what? By the time he's done all that, I've done like 1/10 of that, It's like,
there are so many times where, because I have a teenager also, and she just jumps around, she's full of all this energy. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had that energy. But yeah, 2 jobs, school, and then writing on the side,
right.
Just whenever he gets a chance is just
right.
easy to me.
Right, it is. But I do remember those times though when you're young and you're so prolific in your writing, you just have to get it out. It's just it's just coming out of you, out of your pores almost, So it's a very cool time, and he's taking advantage of it, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. You probably relate a lot to that, being a writer yourself, and for me, I'm constantly dancing around the house and acting. I will tell you that. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, hey, that works. That works. Yeah. You got anything else?
No.
Okay. I got some Macabre Melodies, and that's it.
Sweet. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right.
Was he saying Carolyn or Caroline?
No, he said, if I cut off your arms and I cut off your legs, would you still love me anyway?
Oh, but he didn't say a chick's name in there?
He did not, no.
Oh, shit. I really thought that. I heard that. It's like, oh, like, yeah, this is good. And he's like, I'll cut off your arms. I was like, cut off your legs. I was like, oh, shit. That went dark pretty quick. I'm not familiar with this one at all.
He didn't say any girl's name, but there is a girl that's the name of the song. If you recall, I last time on the podcast, I was talking about a movie that I watched recently. I rewatched, and the movie was called Boxing Helena.
Yeah.
And it was about a guy who cuts off a girl's arms and legs. And this song is about that movie. And it's by the Misfits. It's called Helena. And it's on their album Famous Monsters. And the Misfits are notorious for taking movie titles and quotes and stuff and making them into songs.
I love that about them too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
But I wasn't familiar with that one though. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's a very good one. I really enjoy it. Here we go. Number 2. All right.
His from a movie, right?
I don't know. I mean, it could be in a movie.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's a pretty charming little song. The song is called Dracula's Wedding.
I thought, you know what's funny? I thought it was from, I can't even tell you the name of the movie because it was just dumb. It was Eddie Murphy that was in a vampire movie.
Oh, Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yeah, that was like, for one, I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb, but I thought that's what it was from.
I mean, I don't think it is, but it could have been. I don't think it's that old, though, to be honest, but it could have been. Anyway, the band is Outkast.
Like Aquemini, like Big Boy and Andre.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I should have known that. What album is that from?
Speaker Box, The Love Below.
Shit, I have that shit down. I don't know that one though. That's fun. I'm going back and looking it up. What's the name of it?
Dracula's Wedding.
Dracula's Wedding. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep. There you go. All right, you ready for one last score?
Yep, I'm ready.
Here we go. All right.
Okay, so I definitely feel like I've heard this one before.
I know you have.
Yeah, I know. It's it sounds kind of erotic, sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Am I on the right path?
You are on the right path.
Okay. Yeah, shit. I mean, damn it. Yeah, because I know I've heard this. God, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you throw me some hints or something?
It's from the 80s.
Okay. Is there? There's a movie that comes to my head, and you can tell me. I mean, maybe I don't know. I keep thinking like Night of the Demons. That's not it. No. Okay. 80s movie does not narrow it down. All right, so it's
there's a horror host in it.
Okay. Well, fuck me. Let me think. Hold on. 80s movie, erotic, and there's a horror host in it.
Mm-hmm. It's got vampires.
I'm tired. I can't think of what it is. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't think of it.
The Fearless Vampire Killer.
Which one? Oh, he's in my bedroom. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't. Vampires, 80s movie with a horror host?
There is a horror host. That's part of the theme of the movie. Yeah. Both part 1 and 2.
Oh, see, that's another hint right there. Part 1 and part 2. Look, everybody that's listening to this is probably like, Bridget, you can't get it. You can't figure it out. What is it? Everybody's probably laughing at me on this one.
It's a guy has a neighbor move next door, and he's very suspicious.
Oh, it's Fright Night.
Fright Night. Welcome
you
to Fright Night.
You had to like damn near spell it out for me. Like that was bad. I was like, erotic. It's erotic. I didn't think of the horror host. I think threw me off a little bit.
Well, Peter Vincent, the horror host.
Yeah, I forget about him. That's a good one. Did you? I'm just curious. Did you like the remake of it?
The remake wasn't too bad. I mean, I don't like it nowhere near the first one, but it was. I don't. Host guy in the remake, but the rest of it was okay. I didn't hate it, but no, it doesn't hold a candle to the first one. I don't think the original.
My biggest issue with Fright Night, the original. I think about this shit every time, and people are going to call me super lame right now, but you're the main girl, the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, really? What's so special about her? Her damn hair. Oh, her hair gets on my nerves. I'm like, she might be cute if she had a different haircut or something, a different hairstyle, but that's always been like a thing. I'm like, really? What's so special about her?
Do you think she looked better when she got vamped out and her hair got all permed?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Gave her a little gothic look there. Yeah, sure.
Right. What about the remake? Do you like it or no?
It was okay. It was okay. I'm kind of like you. The horror host. No. I did think the vampire was kind of hot.
Colin Farrell. Yeah, he did a pretty decent job. Honestly,
he was pretty hot. And the little nerdy kid, I can't remember his name. He's been in it's funny because he usually plays in comedies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't. He was in the movie Role Models. I can't.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't know his name.
I was like, oh, that's cool. He's kind of broadened his horizons and do like a horror movie. I mean, it wasn't scary or anything, but I mean, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I can't say that I hated it.
Yeah.
All
right, that's all I got for you.
All right, sweet.
All right, you got anything else?
Not until next time.
Okay, then until next time, Bridget.
Mike.
Stay hardcore.
You stay hardcore.
All right.
Until next
Later.
time. Bye.
Right. Bye.
Wow. It's
hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore Horror with Mike and Bridget is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.